Welcome back to Food Daze. If you've watched the previous two videos that I've come out with, I made actually three: pickled onions, Pico De Gallo, and guacamole. This video, I'm going to make tacos and add all those three into one. So we're just gonna see how it goes. Now this is my take on what I like in tacos and how I make my seasoning mix, because those seasoning mixes that you get at the store, let's just face it, they're horrible. They suck. Why would anybody buy them? Maybe you're just on the fly, you don't have the time, you don't have all the spices. Well, we're gonna change that today. I'm gonna give you a list of spices that I like to use. And typically in the back of those packages, when you turn it over, it'll say use like a cup of water. Water has no flavor. So instead of that, use a beef stock or chicken stock to add your ground beef or sliced up chicken or pork. And hey, it just makes that much more of a difference, and it gives you just that little bit of extra flavor. All right, so let's hop to it. Now the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut these peppers up. They're little sweet peppers. If you can find them in your supermarket, it'd be great. If not, just use normal bell peppers. A while ago, I stopped using lettuce in my tacos and started make my own fajita type tacos and just added these instead. And I don't know, it just makes so much more of a difference. I love it. You don't really have to do much to it. They don't have a lot of seeds, but you can cut them in rings, cook them that way. You can cut them however you want. Choice is totally up to you. Me personally, I just cut pretty much, you'll see the halves, just cut it like this. I mean, you can do it the Gordon Ramsay way, however you want. I just like to see where I'm cutting and waste less and not actually get all that pith. And then that's pretty much just garbage. So I'm gonna run through that, and I'm going lengthwise today. Sometimes I do it in rings, but not today. I'm just gonna be cutting like this until I've got everything that I need here and ready to saute in the pan after I've cooked my meat. So again, your preference. If you don't mind the seeds, then just cut it along this way. You're fine doing it that way. If you don't want all the seeds, I recommend going against where that little pith is and just kind of cutting it all off. And then the seeds should typically stay intact, but you might get a couple stragglers here and there. Not that big of a deal. Hey, we're not perfect. Nobody's asking to be perfect. We're not professional chefs. We're just cooks at home, just making good meals for our families and our loved ones. And that's all you need to do. All right, so by the power of editing, we're probably gonna speed through all this, or cut to the next scene. So we'll see you at the end of this. And there you go. That's all of our peppers cut up. I have them julienne just because, ooh, that was loud. Just so they're easier to cook, char. And this is probably gonna be the last thing that you cook because we're gonna put this into the same pan that we cooked our ground beef in, because all that fond that's left over in the pan and that little bit of grease is just gonna add so much more flavor, so much more of a flavor profile on these peppers that it's really enjoyable in a taco. Let's get to the seasoning. All right, this is gonna be our medley of seasonings. Typically, this is what I use: onion powder, garlic powder, ground cayenne pepper, cinnamon, oregano, cumin, paprika or smoked paprika, whichever you prefer, chili powder, kosher salt, and pepper. Now you put, oh, and last but not least, because I like it a little sweet, is some light brown sugar. Now you put as much as all this as you want. I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong. I mean, typically you could do a teaspoon of everything or a tablespoon of everything and it'd be just fine, depending upon how much meat you're using. But I'm not telling you how much of everything is you should put in, because some people might like it spicier and want more cayenne pepper. Some people might want it more peppery and add more pepper. Fiddle around, find out what you like. Just know that those basic ingredients all together make a great seasoning mix for any tacos. I mean, I've probably been doing this better part of about 10 years now, and it's so much easier, and I love all of these seasonings anyway in just about anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and make my little seasoning mix, and then we'll get to making our ground beef for our tacos. All right, sorry I said we'd be back with the ground beef, but I kind of wanted to show you and give you a good idea of what this looks like. Me personally, I know my taste buds, and I like a little bit of a sweeter meat, so I add about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, but this is roughly what you're looking at getting. Like, this is a lot of seasoning, and I don't have to use it all. You could probably use half of it and just store it for later use or consumption, but I like having this on hand anyway, and I'm making 2.5 pounds of meat as it is. So but that's about what you're looking for, and then if you want to put it in a Ziploc bag, you can put this seasoning mix on just about anything. So good. All right, we're going to cook our ground beef, and I'm going to use a high smoke point oil. It's just going to be avocado oil. I'm just putting just a tad bit into my cast iron pan. You really don't need any kind of oil when you're using or cooking ground beef anyway, just because ground beef is going to have so much fat in it. I personally went with a 91.7 lean ground beef because this ground beef is literally going to be in our tacos, and I don't want it extremely greasy, and I don't want to have to stop and pour out all the grease. So the leaner the meat is, the less fat it's going to have. Yes, fat is flavor, but I don't like eating grease. I actually kind of care about what I eat. Not to say that I'm the skinniest guy on the planet, but this is just easier, and you don't have to dump out all the grease, so that leaves that fat and that leaves that flavor. So we're going to simmer this, or we're going to saute this down and get a little bit of color on it, and then once we get some color to that, we're going to add our chicken stock and then add our seasoning mix. Now, do not, this is key, do not add this seasoning mix to that stock, because when you do that, what's going to happen is all this seasoning is going to stick to the edge. It's not going to get into the meat. And instead of wasting seasoning and always getting whatever mix you have onto your utensils that you're cooking with, keep it separate. Alright, now at this point our meat is ground, but look at that. Look at all that grease. That's just 7%. And you're telling me all that other stuff isn't going to give off that much? So I'm going to take it out, strain my meat. Don't want to drop this. You don't want to put this down your drain. So if you have a colander, you can put it in, and another container. Just kind of strain it out. Make sure you get all the grease out that you want, because we're adding now our own flavor. Alright, at this point, this is where you want to add your stock. So about 1 cup. And then you're going to add as much as your seasoning as you like. You choose your preference. I'm probably using about half because I have a lot of meat here. And then it should change the color to like this nice deep red because of the paprika, and you just roll from there. Alright, now that we've gotten our ground beef thoroughly mixed, ooh, missed some, I guess that's mine. You kind of don't want it too wet, but you also don't want it too dry. So you should be able to kind of see that liquid So you want to get rid of about, not a lot of it, but enough to where it kind of makes this like little gravy that's on all of the meat, because that's all you're seasoning with the chicken stock. So you don't want to cook it all the way out, or else you're going to have dry ground beef, and nobody wants that. You at least want to have some kind of flavor. So keep going until it's kind of reduced, maybe about 3 to 5 minutes, but it's really simple. It cakes up really nice. Again, you're looking for that kind of consistency. You want this to just shine beautifully. Alright, let's get to the next step. Alright, now using the same pan that we were using for our ground beef, we're just going to throw our peppers in there. We're going to get these nice and caramelized up, just kind of getting a little bit of color on them. And there's still seasoning from the beef and then a little bit of beef pieces on there. We're just kind of keeping these, or heating these up, that way, you know, just has a little bit more of a texture and it's just not cold. If you want, you can add a little bit of salt or pepper to that. Just kind of give it a little bit more seasoning. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and do that. Add a little bit of pepper. And the salt is across the way. Sorry, excuse me. Just add a little bit of salt. Alright. Again, we're just kind of sweating these out. Kind of getting just a little bit of color on them. Nothing too serious. Just enough to where they might be a little charred. Just a little heated up, just sweated. We're not trying to candy them or caramelize them. We're just kind of sweating them out so they're not so tough and chewy. So they have a nice soft texture to them. Alright, let's go ahead and check our peppers. Not quite there, about another minute, but definitely making some progress. Alright, let's go ahead and give our pepper one more hit. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Like I said, we're just kind of giving them a sweat. Nothing too serious, not really charring them. Just kind of giving them a little bit of heat. Almost time to assemble. Alright folks, personally, I shred my own cheese. You can do it however you want. You want to buy the pre-shredded stuff, go for it. If you don't want to, you want to shred your stuff, go for it. Doesn't matter to me. Everybody has their preference. It's not going to kill you. Cheese is cheese. So when I make tacos, I like Kobe Jack and extra sharp cheddar. So you just run it down, get as much cheese as you personally like. And yes, it's extra sharp white cheddar. It doesn't matter. This is the New York style kind. Cheddar's cheddar. However you want to cut it. You get your own amount, however much you like. Me, I'm only making this one taco, and then me and my wife are going to eat later, so that should be enough for that. And then let's go ahead and, I'm not going to force you guys to watch me shred all this, so probably be sped through and on to the next scene. Oh, that's hot, that's hot. No. Alright, so you build it however you like to build it. I need a paper towel. Okay, that's silly. Sorry about that. Alright, me, personally, I go a little bit of guac right down the middle. A little bit of sour cream. Boop. Well, a lot of sour cream. Now, that was our guacamole. So good. Now, I'm going to put my pickled onions on here. These are the spicy ones, and I've already tried them. They are beautiful. Couple peppers, pepper, little bit of Pico De Gallo, and then let's go for some of our ground beef. Oh yeah. And some of our cheese. Tell me that doesn't look appetizing. All right, let's have a bite. Oh, yeah, that hits. Like guacamole, so smooth, not too spicy. A hot sauce, the sweetness from the meat. Wow, pickled onions. I didn't think it was gonna have that peppery taste with the red pepper from it. Oh yeah, there's like 10 different flavors going in. All right, sorry, I gotta go in for another one. Damn. I definitely outdid myself. All right. Wow, that's good. Well, guys, that's it for Food Daze. That was my 4 compilation video on making tacos. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, and thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next Food Daze. Later.